The first day of the Sepang test is in the books, and we have learned plenty today from MotoGP's first official test in 2024. Let's get straight into the results. We have Jorge Martin at the top, which isn't really a surprise, but look below him, you see the name Pedro Acosta right in there, picking up where he left off in the shakedown test. Second place, Fabio Quartararo again impressing for Yamaha in P3. Then we have Fabio Di Giannantonio, Enea Bastianini, Maverick Vinales rounding out the top 6, Alex Marquez in P7, Marco Bezzecchi in P8, Marc Marquez in P9, Johan Zarco in P10. Then we have Alex Rins on his Yamaha in 11th, Brad Binder in 12th, Alicia Spargaro in P13, Joan Mir P14, and then rounding out the top 15 is Miguel Oliveira. Then we have the World Champion Pecco Bagnaia in 16th place, with Luca Marini in 17th, Jack Miller in 18th place, Kyle Crutchlow 19th, Taka Nakagami in P20, Augusto and Raul Fernandez in 21st and 22nd, and Michele Pirro in last place, who is replacing Franco Morbidelli. When you look at the results, purely just off a time basis, there's no real surprise that it's Jorge Martin, you know, the man who's so good at doing those. There's no surprise, he's around 2/10 off the outright lap record of Sepang on day 1, and we believe the bike that he done that lap on was the 2023 bike. So yeah, it gives you an indicator of just they're getting themselves bedded nicely for the 2024 season by just going 2 times short of the official outright lap record of the circuit. Yeah, the best place to start, just as a summary for the day, it would be we had a number of fallers early on. It was Pecco Bagnaia and Raul Fernandez who crashed at turn 11, and we believe Fernandez did get back to the pit lane and went out again on his bike and had to stop and go to the hospital for some checks. Don't know what those injuries are, if he has any injuries at all, but we believe he was quite sore. Bagnaia was fine, he got back to the pits, and yeah, he seemed to just go about his day how he does usually in testing, not really looking for that time attack and just going about his business. There was also crashes for Alex Marquez and Marco Bezzecchi. They were the two notable ones near the end of the day, but I suppose we can focus on the person people want to talk about the most, and that will be Marc Marquez. His first test on the Ducati in 2024. It's a few months since he's rode it in Valencia, and today was a challenging day for Marc. You know, his first run on the bike didn't start too well. He left the pits, got to around turn 4, and there was an issue with the bike. He had to be then pushed back, or assisted back on it by a scooter with his bike, so there was a tech issue, but it wasn't anything major. He then went out, done a few more laps, had another tech issue on the bike, which was then sorted again, but it just kept delaying his progress throughout the day. There's no real rhythm to it. And then he went out on a run in the afternoon, and it popped up on the timing that he had crashed, but he clarified on the after the flag broadcast that MotoGP do that it actually wasn't a crash. It was him stopping at turn 1 because he thought there was an issue with the bike. Turns out it was fine, and he continued round to the pits to get it looked at. And then he said the last hour of the day was the first normal hour he actually had on the bike throughout day 1, and he ended up putting the bike in P9, which was 6 tenths off the fastest time of Martin. Realistically, it's testing, these things happen, and it's better for them to happen in testing rather than a race weekend, but not an ideal start for Marc Marquez. I think everyone just assumed that he was going to just pick up where he left off in Valencia, but obviously teething issues happen, a new team, just issues with the bike. It is testing after all, they are trying out new things, and yeah, Gresini confirmed nothing really to worry about with the bikes. They're fine, just a few technical issues. We can expect tomorrow to probably be, for Marquez's sake, a normal day, which he very much needs, as he did complete around 45 laps today. Then focusing on Aprilia. Now there has been a lot of new aerodynamic pieces brought in 2024, and Aprilia arguably could say are the most radically different ones, and we got an even bigger shock today. Well, not really a shock. We got a form of technology that's been used in F1 has now made its way to MotoGP, and that is the aerodynamic rakes or sensors that you see in these pictures. They're used to measure the dynamic pressure, and then that gives feedback to the teams of the aerodynamic flow, or which way the air is going, so they get a better understanding of how the aerodynamics is performing. Of course, we have so many different aero parts, and they were focusing clearly on the aero for the rear spoiler that they have. But yeah, it's quite incredible to see aero rakes in MotoGP. I never thought I'd see the day. It's just very normal in F1, but they've made their way to MotoGP, and to be quite honest, this is going to start something, I think, with a lot of teams. I could particularly see Ducati introducing this. Of course, if it's a direct link with Aprilia, people didn't know Massimo Rivola, the team boss principal, he was at Ferrari for a lot of years in F1. So I'm not really surprised Aprilia are the ones to bring this in first. It's going to open up a rabbit hole essentially for aerodynamics. You know, we've seen a lot of teams go radically different this year with their aero, and it's up to the FIM and Dorna to essentially cap this if they want to stop aerodynamic development. But they kind of shot themselves in the foot as they kind of let the teams just decide this is the aerodynamic rules that we have, and it could get a lot more complicated than this. But let's see what's said. But people need to realise these aerodynamic rakes are only for testing or practice, if they even would use them in practice. They're only really used in testing. They aren't on the bike as a permanent fixture. It's just there to test out the flow and the pressure sensors. That is all it is. You wouldn't see it during a race. I don't even think it would be allowed during the race. It would be classed as illegal because it's so big. And yeah, no need to worry. But yeah, MotoGP's aerodynamic era is really taking off now, and who knows where it goes from here. Looking at Pedro Acosta, again, he was so fast and comfortable in the shakedown test. He looked like that again from the photos and the videos that we've seen today. His lap times certainly reflect that. He did say on the After the Flag broadcast that he didn't actually look to do a fast time today. It just kind of came, which, when saying something like that, it's very promising for a rookie who's only on his 5th day of riding a MotoGP bike, which is pretty incredible to only be 2 and a bit tenths off Jorge Martin. Fabio Quartararo inside the top 3. We mentioned Yamaha briefly at the start. They do look like they have improved, and there is positive signs coming out of that factory. You know, they both have said that they have, you know, Quartararo and Rins have said that the engine that they've used is promising. There is real potential there. Fabio did Gian Antonio in P4. Solid start for him at his new team in VR46. Enea Bastianini inside the top 5. Maverick Vinales is always quick in testing, we know this. Yeah, just a normal test session for him, getting used to the new Aprilia and the Aero. The KTMs look pretty fast as well, even though when you look at the timesheets, their lap time isn't really reflected in that. They look very comfortable. Very positive signs coming from them after today. They've said, you know, the bike feels good and they hope to just progress on it. Speaking about Honda, they came out today in their testing colours now, which is pretty normal for them in Sepang. They've run all black bikes and it looks pretty cool. One thing I did notice, which is a sponsored change as such, of course we know there's no Red Bull on the bike anymore, but the big sponsor on the side of their bike is actually now Honda. Their logo, the Honda logo, is the main feature on the side of the fairing. Repsol sponsor, the iconic Repsol Honda sponsor, is now towards the bottom of the belly pan, and it's smaller, which indicates that Repsol's involvement with Honda, you know, it's potentially winding down. They're in the last year of a contract. They're not as prevalent anymore on the bike, so we might not see as much orange involved with this bike. Of course it'll be on the bike still, but yeah, expected livery change from Honda when they officially reveal their bike in next week. Other than that, it was pretty much a standard day of testing. You know, we don't really get to see too much as we don't have live video. You know, we just go off timing and photos and videos from the pit lane and such. It's pretty much what we expected. Jorge Martin dialing in himself again, and he's still fast, that's no surprise. Pedro Acosta continues to impress. A difficult day for Marc Marquez, but still ends up inside the top 10. Pecco Bagnaia not really featuring on the leaderboard as such, but this is the world champion. We know what he's like. He just builds his way into the season and works around problems, solutions. He'll be fine. And yeah, more to come from day 2. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. MotoGP is back, and it is great to get this underway again. We'll have coverage tomorrow from day 2. make sure to like all our social media pages, subscribe to us below on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.